You could have given up, but you didn't. You could have stopped believing, but you didn't. You could have kept living their expectations, but you decided to make this life your own. And in turn, you're here. Hello, everyone. Today we're meeting John C. Morley. He's a serial entrepreneur, engineer, talk show host, and also the president and founder of his own company. And if you want to see what he does, go believemeachieve.com and you see all the content that he is working on. Hello, John. Thank you for joining us today.
It is a privilege and pleasure and honor to be with you today, Anna.
Thank you. So let's start our conversation by diving into your journey of becoming the person you are today. What led you to discover your true passion in life? How did it start for you?
You know, so obviously I went to school and got my engineering degree, and I've always been passionate about technology. I started helping people in college and doing an internship in college and leading my telecommunications department. And then when I graduated, my dad gave me a choice. Do I want to start a business and get more money and go away for a month, or get less money and take off for a week or 2 weeks and get a job? And I already knew when I was a junior, because I had started a makeshift business in college where I was fixing people's computers for $10 on the phone and $20 in person. Now, that wasn't per hour. That was just a flat fee. So people thought I was nuts. And then I decided, when I graduated, that one of my friends talked me into the fact that I had to hire a large marketing and advertising company because I had no customers. And I said, okay, I guess I got to do that. My dad was very willing, and he paid the bill, and then I paid the bill. And we've been paying this bill, Anna, for like 15 years. And so finally I said, enough is enough. And when I got out of college, my grandmother had told me before I graduate, when you have your business, you should get Xerox because they're the best in copiers and printers. I said, okay, Grandma, I'll get Xerox. She says, that's what we have at the office. And she worked for Roche, God rest her soul. She was a typist. I think that's the word they call it, a secretary typist, statistical typing. So she would do all the columns that we do by Word, and we click a column. She would figure that all out by hand, statistically. And so she said, you have to get a Xerox. So I did. And at that time, a black and white printer was like $20,000, $30,000. A color printer was over $100,000. And so we had a relationship with Xerox for a while. So again, 15 years back from now, because the company's about 31, 32 years young, I decided that I had enough. Had enough of people telling me, John, you can't do this. You can't do that. You're a marketer. Stay in your own lane, right? That's what they all told me. Stay in your own lane. And I said, I don't like this anymore. And I spoke for Harvard and Yale, and I said, gee, if I could speak for them and I could do keynote speaking, I said, well, and I'm an engineer. Well, I just have to understand basically the language of the body, the code, and the code for how to do marketing and advertising. I'm sure it's not much different. And so I went to Xerox and I said, hey, guys, how do I become a mom and pop print shop? They said, John, it's real simple. 150. I reached in my pocket, Anna, and I gave them $150. They looked at me and they said, John, 150,000. I said, oh. I go to my bank. My bank says yes. I said, well, your bank's supposed to stop you from doing these crazy things, right? Well, mine didn't. They said, when do you want the money? They said, you can have it tomorrow. I was like, oh, that wasn't the response I was expecting. I was expecting like a wall. So now I go back to Xerox the next day, but I decide to be a little bit. So just to understand the difference, a business owner focuses on the business, right? An entrepreneur focuses on creativity of the business, how to, what I call creatively play. I don't work every day, Anna. I get paid to play. And so an entrepreneur creates systems. A serial entrepreneur creates other systems, either within that business or another business, to help their other business or other businesses. So they help a problem. So I decided, I'm going to do my first little serial entrepreneur thing. I'm going to go back to Xerox and say, hey, guys, I am completely embarrassed. My credit was not as good as I thought it was. It was good, but I didn't get the full amount. He said, well, how much did you get? I said, what do I owe you for the breakfast and the lunch? I said, I just want to pay you back because it's obviously I don't have enough money to buy this machine. And I just want, and I knew what I was doing. And so he said, how much did you get? I said, well, I got 130,000. He goes, you're 20,000 short. I said, I know. And that's why I want to pay you. What do I owe? It's $100 for the dinner and the bread. Like, what do I owe you? I just want to pay you back. Cause like, obviously I'm not going to be a customer. He said, well, have a donut, have a bagel, have some tea, coffee. He said, sit right tight. He said, just sit right there. Now, remember, I'm 20,000 short. He's running like a little kid over to the manager. I'm the only one in the office in the morning. And you see them with their hands doing all this stuff. And then 5 minutes later, he's running out like a little kid. Yes, he's like, you are in luck, Mr. Morley. How am I in luck? I'm 20,000 short. Today is your lucky day. Because you see, on Monday, can't really tell anybody this, but you've been working with us. Monday, we're doing a $20,000 on paper rebate and 40 hours of free training for this machine or anything higher. So that kind of set me back like, whoa, here I'm thinking I can just walk away. And so I said, I need a night to sleep on. It was Friday. So, give me Sunday, give me Monday. I came in Monday morning. I said, all right, let's do it. Went through the training for 2 weeks. Then I went to this advertising company. Unfortunately, I won't give you their name out of professionalism. And they are still ripping people off every single day. They're a publicly traded company, unfortunately, but they have a big name. So I walked into the door. I'm just going to give you one of the guy's name. It's not his real name. I'm going to say, hey, Steve, how are you? He's like, I said, how are you? I said, we had a great run, Steve. I want to thank you so much from out of my heart. And we're done. He's like, John, he said, I just got in the office, broke my eyes. I'm trying to get my coffee. I'm not really awake. Let me get your salesperson in. Brian said, okay, fine. So he calls Brian in. Hey, Brian, how are you? He says, Mr. Morley, he says, we've been working all night. Myself, Carrie, Bob, Joe, Tina, Julie, Aaron, Joey, and Albert, on a multi-million-dollar campaign that will set Jay Moore like years ahead, and you have so much money you won't even know what to do with it. Would you like to see it? And I said to him, no. And he said to me, he says, what do you mean no? I said, maybe you weren't hearing me. I just fired your boss. I told you we're done. He said, I thought you meant with the project. Yeah, we're done with the project. We're done with everything. You are all fired as of right now. Tries to give me a rebate, 40% off all past work, then 20% new work, then 40%. I said, why didn't you do that years ago? And he goes, John, that's below the belt. I said, no. You know what's below the belt? Taking my money and my father's money for 15 years and not giving us an ROI. Well, you're in a competitive industry. Right, then you shouldn't have been taking my money if you know what you were doing. Later on, he finds that I'm starting the company. He says, oh, bro, he says, you're swimming with the sharks. You really shouldn't be doing that. He says, I admire you, but, you don't know how to swim with sharks. He says, they'll eat you alive. I said, that's all right. I said, I'll figure it out. And then I went away. 2 years I failed. They kept kind of harassing me, coming back. And he says, John, he says, I have an idea. Why don't we help you out? Why don't we, take some of your clients for you? You can keep your name on it. We'll do the work for you. And, we'll help you a little bit. I said, I got a better idea. Why don't we take some of your clients? We'll keep your name on it. We'll do the work. We'll give them an ROI. The ones that are actually planning on suing you or leaving you that you just don't know about yet. You just haven't figured it out. Now, why don't we do that for you? He goes, well, John, I'm not at liberty to make that kind of a decision. That's kind of above my pay grade. Exactly. And that's why you have no business taking me out to lunch. When you can make that kind of decision, I'll be happy to go to lunch with you. And he just kind of went away like a dog with a tail between his legs. And I got very passionate, Anna, about creating content, whether it's social media. I'm also a video producer. I produce hundreds of videos, and a lot of them are all free. And so you might say, why do I do this? Well, because when I create enough free content, people are like, I want this for my business. I want this for my business. So they want that. I'm like, well, we could do that for you. Sure. You can hire us to do that. And people just there's something about the content we create. And I don't want to just pat ourselves on the back, but you've seen content out there. Yes. None of my content gets banned. We post 7 times a day, 7 social media channels. Not all for one company, obviously. 7 different. So, and I said, we've never been banned, but we were banned 2 times. So that kind of like put a little bit of a rock in. We're like, why? One was a town I live in. The board banned me, the local Facebook group. I'm like, why? They're like, John, you're putting business promotion on a non-business day, which is Wednesday's a business day. I'm like, but I'm not selling anything. Your logo's on the bottom. It's so small. Wow. You're selling. No, I'm not. So this lady banned me from the board. I went back to the other admins. I'm like, what the heck? Like, she's like, John, I don't know. I didn't ban you. The other lady didn't ban you. I know the one lady, she gets a little bit up in an ego. She likes control. So she probably got rid of you. So I said, okay, no problem. So I went and posted something. So I was able to do certain things, but she banned me from certain things. So I posted something to the board and I shared it with people. I tagged them and said, hey, I just want to let you know this is going to be my last post on your board. I'm going to be leaving. Apparently, one of the admins and I don't see eye to eye. Apparently, she thought that I was putting content out every day that was selling. But I have a question. Why is it that a doctor who owns 15 cars, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Mercedes, DeLoreans, why is it that he can put his ad every single day that he wants? That sells, hard sells. But I have a couple cars, and I can only post my ad on Wednesday, even though I don't even sell. I said, so I'd like your response. And if you're in agreement with me or if you're not, comment back. I'd like to let the admin know who's really boss of this group. Well, I got a message back from Facebook saying that I had been unbanned. And the post that I made, which had hundreds of comments, got deleted from the board. They never bothered me again. I got banned one other time. I was on LinkedIn. Again, I'm all creating purposeful, meaningful content, no sales, just educating people. And I was in a finance group with, I don't know, maybe 4 million, 5 million people. And again, post things about AI with banks, no selling, just all information. Well, about 3 months ago, I got removed and banned from the group. So I talked to him. I said, what happened? Oh, John, it's not you. The guy who runs the group is a little bit of a, well, I won't use the word, but basically he's a little bit of an ego person. He thinks he's still in 8th grade and he wants to control everybody. And if you're playing with sand, you have to play with his or you can't use sand. Oh, so don't take it personally. We still want to follow your content, even though he won't let you in the group. I mean, he's just a jerk. I'm like, okay. So 2 times in about 15 years, I got banned. That's not terrible. So that means my content is purposeful. So then I got more on the crusade of taking back to wanting to do motivational speaking. I have a national talk show that hits about, I think, 15 million people in California. I have a local show in New Jersey that hits about 15,000. And I do a daily show that I just do anytime. Sometimes I bring guests, sometimes not. And I basically talk, like this week is a master topic, depending on when this airs. The topic for this week is an amazing one. To reach way high, you have to dig deep down. You have to dig deep down. And that's applicable on so many levels. So I take a master topic, I start on Saturday, and I roll through the week, and I finish up on a Friday. So I just love to create content. I have a Friday, I release a Super Motivational Friday with John video. I also release a Science Friday with John video. I do a Jason Academy coaching on Monday. I do unboxings. I have a tech show. And I also lead a local STEM program. So I'm passionate about creating content. I'm also a member of the International Press Association. So about 7 years ago, I got very serious about not only becoming an author, which I will be this year, but getting people to take my content seriously. So I sent few of the articles I wrote to International Press. I said, what's the worst they're going to do, Anna? Say no. So I sent it to them. 2 weeks later, they sent me a letter back. Congratulations, Mr. Morley. We've reviewed your information. We feel that you more than adequately exceed the requirements to become a member of the International Press. Congratulations. Please pay this small amount, and we'll send you a press badge. And I've been a member ever since. So to me, it's about that purposeful content. If somebody says, hey, John, I need you to write a release for me, I want you to do this, I'll be happy to do that. But don't ask me to do that and tell something to the world that is not true.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the most important thing.
Wow, definitely. You have a lot going on in your life, and I see how everything connects to your purpose of creating that content, and not just any content, something that is really beneficial for other people. And that's why it is successful. That's why you're not banned for the 15 years that you've been posting that content, and you have skills to create and edit all of those type of content that you're posting, and you're really enjoying the process. It's
I
not
love it, Anna.
work for you. I think when we're in a flow state or in our zone of genius, I would say, where we do something we love and we enjoy it, it doesn't feel like work.
That's exactly right. I say that I get paid to play.
Yeah.
And you know, and you probably had this if you write or you do creative stuff, because we all do. You got in writer's block, right? We've all gotten that before. So what do? Normally you go away for a few days, but when you're on a deadline and you have to create, like every week I have 2 articles that have to be published before the next Monday, next Sunday finishes. How do you finish? Like you can't like take that much time off. So about a few months ago, I found a magic trick. I listened to Tony Stark's productive music. When I put his music on, I just have this natural high, and I have 500 words on the computer screen within 20 minutes.
Wow.
And things just sort of flow. So I think music, like you were mentioning that flow state, I think more of us have to figure out what that flow state is. And if people in life are going to take us off that flow state, we need to politely say to them, hey, I know we may not be connecting at the moment. I know you're having a challenge at the moment. Listen, hang out with me when you're feeling a little better, because obviously you don't want me to help you. I can see you're not interested. You set another time and they do the same thing. They do it a third time. I say, hey, dude, look, I loved hanging with you. And I know you're still going with some issues, and I know you still don't want my help, and it's probably none of my business. But look, I want to just let you know that while you're going through this, I don't want to hang with you anymore. So unless your attitude changes, I think this is going to be goodbye for a while. It's nothing personal. It's just I want to hang around people that energize me. And right now, you're de-energizing me, and I just can't have that.
Yeah, and putting those type of boundaries, it's healthy for you. You have to always watch out what brings you the most, I would say, mental and physical health. And whatever that is, you have to create that for yourself. You have to take responsibility of how you setting yourself up for success. What are the habits? What are the practices that you integrated in your daily life to really support you and to move you forward with your ideas, goals, and the vision for your life? What is it? But if something doesn't serve you, or people that bring you down or de-energize you, it's not something that you have to put up with. You don't have to feel guilty for it.
Exactly. And no one has the right. I say no one has the right to make you feel inferior about yourself except for one person. You.
Yes. And a lot of people don't realize that, they talking to themselves sometimes even worse than they would talk to other people. They don't see that there's negative self-talk on the loop, and, it's just running their life. It's really what is the reason they making decisions in their life and how they operate. And again, to become aware, to disrupt that negative thinking pattern, it requires you to become mindful of what is it that you keep thinking about? What is it that you believe in?
Absolutely. I had a very interesting situation. So there was a gentleman who was in office. He was an elected official. He's not in office anymore in our town. And I had done a lot of work for the community. I'm also president of the Chamber of Commerce. Made a charity, a 501c3. And what happened was I remember him not being very, how can I say, supportive that I was doing this, because I thought it was taking like light away from him. And so I did this whole thing about shopping local. Well, he asked to meet with me. Now, I knew it wasn't for good reasons. So he calls me on a Monday. I said, I'll be happy to meet with you. My first availability is Friday at 4:30. Now they go home at 5.
Mhm.
Or I can meet with you next Monday at 9 a.m. Those are the two worst times that they would probably not want to meet. Guess what? He says, I'll meet with you on Friday at 4:30. Okay. I come down because they're not going to want to stay because they want to get home for the weekend. So I go down to meet with him, and he says, John, he says, he goes, the concept you have of the shop local? I said, yes. He said, it's an amazing concept. By the way, you're not launching it, and we are. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, and by the way, John, when are you ever going to give up? Excuse me? When are you going to give up with the chamber, with all this nonsense and all this thing of connecting people? When are you just going to give up? Like, we don't need that here. We're a very affluent town, and we don't need, like, your kind of stuff here. So that gave me a take back. And then he told me we don't need a chamber, and I sat in his chair, closed my eyes, took a deep breath. So what are you doing? I said, sir, I don't want to lie to you. I want to give you the exact year, the exact month, the exact day, hour, minute, and second. Then I'm officially going to give up. Just give me a minute. I'm almost there. He's like, oh, okay. Sir, I'm going to give up when a little baby boy, he's making all these faces, or a little baby girl tells their parents that they don't want to walk anymore. He's like, do all kinds of things, this and that. So then he's like, I said, let me ask you a question. You have 2 kids right now. You have a girl that just graduated college, and you have a boy that's just entering his freshman year of college. Am I correct? He's like, yes. Let me ask you another question. Do they both walk? He said, yeah, of course they walk. I said, okay. I said, when did either of them tell you that they don't want to learn to walk anymore? He's silent for about 5 minutes, and you don't talk because the one who talks loses. He goes, after 3 or 4 minutes, I'm just sitting there very patiently. Never. I said, sir, I always knew that you were a bright and intelligent man the first time I met you. And I also knew that the first time I asked you that question today, you would answer precisely correctly the first time. Never. And you see, that's when I'm going to give up too. Never. He looked at me with some eyes. He goes, John, you're arrogant. Now get the blank out of my office. I said, sir, I said, I never needed your help. I came here with an olive branch to try to get us to work together, but I never needed your help. And I'll still be cordial with you in public because that's the proper thing to do. But I'd appreciate if you not be saying things about me behind my back because I don't do that to you. And I appreciate if you would be respectful for me, not just when we're in public, but also when people don't see me. That means don't tell lies about me. Let's not go there. Because I say, someday you're going to be out of office and I'm still going to be here and someone else is going to help me. Now I have to run, but I thank you so much for the invitation today. And I look forward to seeing you at another town event. So why did I tell you that story? Because, Anna, we have to bring our A game every time. If we don't bring our A game, someone else will and will be replaced.
Yes, and our A game, it depends on how we believe in ourselves. What is the purpose that we're doing all this work? What is our why? A lot of times you ask people why you're doing what you're doing and they don't know, and then they're lost and they stuck and they don't have that fulfillment. But once they discovered something that really brings them joy and they know the purpose of how they serving other people, it just comes in naturally, and they have that internal desire, and they wouldn't stop. Nothing would prevent them from really expressing themselves and bringing that to the world because they know it's good not only for them but for others.
Right. Whatever we do. So if we love, I always say to ourselves, if you're having a problem with the people, let's look back at ourselves. You have to like and love yourself first before you can like, love, and help others. That's the most important thing. So if you don't like yourself, you're never going to like others. And a lot of people don't get that. We have to look in the mirror first. And when I said that thing today about, to reach way high, you have to dig deep down, that's on so many levels. We have to connect our heart and our brain. Most people don't know, but there are more let's call it sensors or connections between sending from our heart to our brain, then our brain to our heart. Now, you might say, John, that's kind of wacky. Well, our brain is let's say, the operational officer. The heart is the CEO of the whole company. Mm-hmm. So the brain asks the heart what to do, and the heart decides. That's what happens. When your heart and your brain are not connected in a synergy, this is when we have lack, when we have other challenges. Nightingale Conant said something a long time ago. We become what we think about most often. We change our words, we change our thoughts. We change our thoughts, we change our mind. We will, in fact, improve the quality of our life. But so many people get stuck in this rut that, oh my gosh, you can't do that. Well, of course, you are where you are today because of the thoughts you had yesterday. You'll be tomorrow by the thoughts you have today. But people don't realize it's not like a light switch. You don't flip the switch and the light goes on. You have to keep thinking those thoughts consistently.
Yes.
Everything around us is energy. Mm-hmm. And so I got into doing what I'm doing because I feel good doing what I'm doing. I love to help people, whether it's on a podcast, whether it's on my podcast, being a guest, writing articles. I love the fact that I think I brought my audience from over 700 people following me on just the blog for the articles since January. Mm-hmm. And I didn't invest $1 toward it because I wanted to prove something. I wanted to prove that if you put out good, high quality content, people will follow you. I think in all the time I've been with it, I lost one follower. That's it.
Wow.
And I had somebody I want to tell you. It was, I think it was about a couple months ago. And I never call anybody out because I think that's wrong and it's passive aggressive. Well, how would you like this? You post something. I was posting an AI article about one of the things I wrote about farmers are turning to AI to milk their cows. Pretty amazing story. And so this guy comments below, we're looking for web developers. We're looking for designers. We're looking blah, 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 blah. We've been in business. So I didn't say anything. He does it again next article. I'm like, what the? So I said, okay, so he's done this twice. I want to go look up and see who this guy is. Mm-hmm. I see that he's the vice president of an organization, small organization, that's a parent of a large public organization, that's a marketing company, an advertising company. Mm-hmm. I'm like, shame on him. But I'm not going to call him on the carpet. I'm going to use this guy as an example. I'm like, hey, everyone, it's John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. You're tuned to Inspirations for Your Life, motivational show. And listen, I got a great inspiration because I'll just say the same thing I told you. So I'm not going to call the guy out on it, but the show is entitled Social Media Etiquette and Understanding What You Should Do. Do you know what happened after I got to my third episode? He stopped commenting on any of my blogs.
Wow. He got it.
He got the message because I did the professional thing. I didn't call him out. I didn't tag him. I didn't even message him back and say, hey, what are you doing? I decided to teach him, but in a way that lets him see for himself that he's wrong. I think a lot of people like that too, Anna, that if you let people see that they're wrong by an example, but you don't call them out on it, but you get them to change because you don't really care whether you make them see publicly that they're wrong. You just want them to change their ways, right? You want to change their behaviors. I always say the person is not the problem. It's the behavior we want to alter. If you don't like the way you're doing something, hey, Mike, I really appreciate what you're doing and you're staying late. You're doing all these amazing things and you brought some more business in the company. I'm very grateful for that. And in the same token, we got to make sure that when we're putting things on the line, that we're careful because if the things go on the wrong line, they go in the wrong box, they go to the wrong conveyor, they go to the wrong ship, and they go to the wrong person, and we have a mess. And that causes thousands of dollars worth of wasted money. So we need to correct that behavior. So how can I motivate you to make sure that you're like putting things in the right thing? I know you're quick. We need to slow that down and really verify that things are going in the right order.
Yes, definitely.
And I think those are the things people appreciate, Anna. They appreciate when you can get somebody to make a change, but they don't, people don't have to feel bad about themselves to have a change. I know this because When I graduated, I went back a few years ago to take clinical and psychology and neurolinguistic programming and Silva. And I did this not to become a doctor or anything like that or a practice. I didn't even think about being a coach back then. I did this just for myself. I wanted to learn, how do I operate? How do other people operate? And that's when I learned that what we see is not what is. It's a perception. The map is the reality, not what we see. So if we change our perception on what we're connecting to, we change the feeling. If we change the feeling, we change the manifestation, we change our energy. When we change the energy, we change the result.
Yes, our perception of what we see, and then all those feelings, again, like it will recalibrate the way you think, the way you feel, and what you attract in your life. Because, like you said, it's all energy, and people feel what you radiate, and then you receive who you are being. Usually, it's not what you're really saying, but who you being, and that even goes without saying. People can really spot that, and you first have to work on yourself and develop that character, develop the best high integrity person that you can be. And again, it's not just you waiting for somebody to tell you that. You have to start working on yourself. And if you need to let go of something that didn't serve you, wouldn't serve you now, that you have to do it. It just takes time to change, and it's uncomfortable. And some people are
Yes.
not ready for it. And they have to realize that it will take time, but without you prioritizing that and working on it, nothing will happen.
I'll give an example. So I'm a golfer. And now when I started golfing a long time ago, I did okay, but I wasn't doing phenomenal. So I got a pro when I was probably when I was like in my teens, and I still play with him. We take playing lessons. So we play on the golf course. And it was uncomfortable? Changing my grip. I was like, I don't like the way I hold the club. He's like, it's a little uncomfortable, but you'll get used to it. And a lot of things you'll get used to, right? We have to get used to being uncomfortable. So one of my topics was, how do we push the envelope a little further? This came from a great story where they talked about how do we push the envelope of the plane. That's where it came from, the envelope of the aeronautical plane. And when we learn how to push the envelope further, we actually discover more about ourselves and we discover more about others. But people are afraid. And the reason people are afraid is because of our RAS. Now, that's not a candy. RAS is reticular activating system, and it's in our brain. And the way it works is, if I was to ask you right now, what color car, Anna, do you drive? What color car do you have?
White.
Okay, I have a white one too. If I asked you, I bet you there's a lot of white cars on the road, right? Probably say yes. I'd say yes too. Now, if we ask somebody else that's listening or watching today, what color is your? They're like, no, my car's the. It's like, what color car? I have a blue one. Well, we're all right because it's our perception. So our RAS is our fight or flight mechanism. We've all gone to the stove, and we might have been close to it. When it gets hot, we pull our hand away so we don't burn ourselves, right? That fight or flight. Well, it happens the same way. The RAS is designed to keep us safe and alive, not successful. We're like, well, that's an oxymoron, John. Why did the creator put that in us? Well, because the creator wants to make sure that we stay safe. That makes sense. But we can train our RAS. We can transform it through neuroplasticity. And so what we can do is, let's say I say to step out of the envelope, just push it a little bit, right? And the reason I say that is, if we push it a little bit, it's a little uncomfortable, right? But we got further, and the RAS like, okay, I guess we can make that the new block. Then if I push it again, so I can keep pushing that bar a little, right? If you're taking a shower, I know sometimes in the summertime, you want to take a shower and you want to take an ice cold shower. You don't put the ice cold shower in right away. You put like the warm water on, then you turn on the cold water just a little bit, so you get a little cold introduced with the warm, then a little colder, then a little more colder, and finally you get to that really cold temperature. But you can't just go cold turkey, right? Yeah. So same thing. And so our RAS keeps building up. When I say you have to reach way high, you have to dig deep down. You have to do what no one else is doing. A quick story. When I was Fortune 500 company, it was in New York, actually. It was before 9/11. And I had met with the controller, CEO, and had a great relationship with him. And I was going to send the proposal and all this good stuff, but I felt like there's a possibility I could still wind up on page 900. So how do I make myself stand? Even though he liked me, everything was professional. I was early, because if you're on time, you're late. So I was early. And I said, how am I going to do this? So I said, I'm going to think outside the box. I went to Home Depot, one of the stores, and I bought let's say a big, like a plastic bucket. I took the top and I just drilled some holes in it, like small little holes. I filled that bucket up with water. Maybe I left that much open. And I went to my local fishery. And I asked them for 2 live lobsters. Got the 2 live lobsters, sealed everything up, but kept the holes open at the top. Brought it to FedEx with a card. I sent this off to the company. Guy calls me up, John, what the blank did you send me? Security keeps calling me. I said, well, did you see what I sent you? He says, no. He says, they won't even bring it up. They said, it's a security risk. Well, just go down to the loading dock and give me a call back. He's like, I'm really busy right now. I have another meeting. I said, no problem. I said, just wait till the end. He said, no, but they're going to keep calling me every half hour. I said, well, then I guess you better go down there. So he goes down to the loading dock. He calls me back literally within 5 minutes. I say, how are you? He says, John, what the bloody did you send me? I said, well, it is alive. What do you mean it's alive? I said, well, why don't you open the container or have somebody help you? So he opens the container. He says, what the lobsters? I said, well, did you see the card? No, open the card. I said, thank you so much for the opportunity. I've enjoyed meeting with you the other day, and I look forward to hopefully getting to do business with you. I wanted to make sure that I could finish crawling my way up to the top so I could make sure I get the job. Warmest regards with gratitude, John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. He was like, he didn't say anything wrong. He says, John, first of all, you got the account. Wow, that's great. Thank you. He says, second of all, don't ever send me something like that again. He says, that was amazing, but don't ever do it again. I was on his mind, the company's mind, security's mind. I was on everybody's mind. I probably wouldn't have got that sale. Maybe I may or may not have gotten it. He might have, but that pushed me ahead of, he had other people to meet with. He didn't even meet with them. Another time, I sent a big jar of jelly beans to a CEO, about 6 feet high. And I said, when I got the thing, this wasn't as bad. They delivered it. It was pretty big and maybe about 6 feet wide. And I said to him, I know you and your family love jelly beans and your staff too. Remember, as you eat each one and you choose to do business with our company, we'll continue to grow together.
Wow.
And he was like, so a guy came into his office and he wanted jelly beans. So he had a clever idea. He had some bags printed up with their company logo and just say, take some jelly beans, whatever. So they would bring their kids and stuff. They'd come and they have a big scoop and they haven't had a ladder. You'd go up on a ladder and you'd kind of scoop them in because it was high. And so he goes, well, I'm not the genius. He says, yeah, you are. This is a great idea. He says, no, the genius is John Morley because he's the guy who sent this. He said, that had to cost him a few dollars. He said, yeah, that's a lot of jelly beans. So at the end of that year, he took that jar, which was maybe half full, home and just kept it as his personal memoir for his family to keep coming for jelly beans.
That's genius. I mean, those small gifts, it's just something that is creative way to make people remember you, to really understand what's your why and how you can work together. And like you said, it's just stays on your mind. You can really not to recognize it. It's just impossible to ignore it. And what it just took you a few moments to really think about it and make it happen, but it's worth more than that.
Absolutely. And so when I came up with these couple ideas, I said, you know what? I said, I might have not had a marketing company, but I think I'm pretty darn good. And our slogan is, we'll blast you in front of your next client safely. Get on board. We're here for you. So people like that. And the name of that company is called Orbital Media. So Orbital Media, in fact, when you even call us on the phone, thanks for boarding Orbital Media. Our plane will be taking will be taking off shortly. Please make sure your seatbelts are fastened. Please make sure your seatbelts are fastened, and we'll be beginning our safety demonstration momentarily. Thank you so much for choosing to fly with Orbital Media today. And then we come back, and then I pick up the phone. It's like, hey, thanks so much for boarding Orbital Media. What can I get you today? Huh? And I made a little joke. I'm like, do you want peanuts? You want popcorn? Oh, no. Is your seat okay? He said, yeah, it's fine. Listen, I had a question. Okay, no problem. So then we get out of the role play, we get into something else. And people like that. They like that. I think in business, people don't have enough time to play. So the reason I tell people we're different than a multi-billion-dollar agency is that we take that passion so seriously. And to me, Anna, it's not about the money that comes, even though we get a lot of money for the ideas, but it's not about the money coming in. It's how I feel when I connect you with an idea. That's what's priceless to me. Seeing the kid's face, seeing the prospect's face. Oh my gosh. We don't do things like, I'm going to be in the area next Wednesday. Yeah, so everyone's going to be in the area next Wednesday. That doesn't work. My tactic is, hey, I'm here today, and I want to thank you so much for working with us. And I brought you 6 pies for your office. By the way, really appreciate you working with us. As you take each slice, would you do me a favor and maybe think of a few people that we can help take a bite out of their challenges with? So I try to link things. And on the bottom of the pizza thing, I had a liner that says, thanks for helping us take a bite out of your problem, your technology problem, or your problems, as well as your clients.
Yes. And that's what people remember, and that matters. And that's a human touch into connecting with others. It's not just calling or a card sending. It's more than that. It's really the way
it's that connection. And you can go to companies that sell cards, and there's nothing wrong with that, but everybody's doing that, Anna. Everybody's selling cards, right? So when I do something like when it was one of our teams that we do work for a large client, actually one of our banks, I designed the security for Wall Street. And so one of the ladies there, she had another baby. Mm-hmm. I found out about it. I called and said, hey, Jen, how you doing? She said, John, I'm doing great. What's the new one's name? Oh, it's Yolanda. Great. Oh, how many pounds is that? And you know what I do? I send her out a gift, wishing Yolanda all the best of health and happiness and many wonderful years with your family. Please accept this little outfit for her. May she wear it in many great years. Warmest regards with gratitude, John. P.S. You're always the star on your team. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the garment had stars on it.
Wow. Yeah, everything is connected in your message, and that's what people appreciate, and it really gets to their heart. This is how you connect with another human being, and it's all about relationship.
Absolutely.
Our business is about building long-term meaningful relationship with others, because you never know what could happen 5 years from today.
Absolutely. You never know. I had a guy, I was doing a one-on-one with somebody. And when I do a one-on-one, I'm not trying to sell anybody. I'm always just trying to provide value. I'm always saying, well, how can I help you? Like, can I bring you on my podcast? Like, what value? Okay, you're not selling anything. What can I help you with? Who can I connect you with? And I had this guy who was somewhere from Seattle, and I had a conversation with him, and he was talking about some things and tell me a little about what he did. And about 5 minutes after I got off the call with him, I got an email. Now, the email was not just thanking me for my time. Hey, John, thanks so much. It was really great meeting with you. I was very impressed. I mean, he took like 2 or 3 sentences to write. He was impressed with me. Okay, that's nice. But I saw that as an empty, how can I say, letter. Because 2 said, like, hey, John, and I want to take an opportunity to let you know again what I do and all the product and services, and we could jump on a call. And I was just really annoyed because that was a hard sell. Here we are just trying to build our relationship. And then you just threw everything, your product, your services about me. Oh, by the way, we're the leader in this and the leader in that. There's a difference, Anna, between telling and selling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually going to be my topic for next week. So telling, and I don't know where I get these topics from. They just come like out of the blue. Whenever I get them, I just write like, I didn't even know that was going to be my topic for next week. It just happened. Universe just gives it to me.
Just
Telling and
recently.
selling. So telling is when I say, gee, we did this work for Wall Street. We designed their security systems and they trust us, and so many other people put their trust as well. That's telling. Okay. Selling is, hey, we did this work for Wall Street. I know you're having problems with your business. We can do stuff like this for you now. That's selling. People don't want that. Or in the PR world, we've helped Fortune 500 companies. I've helped mom and pops with their retreats. And I really love getting the story out about their business and having them, generate great income from their family. That's telling. Selling is, hey, we did work for L&L Retreats. They had a great opportunity. They brought in X dollars. They were really happy. I know I do the same thing for you. What are you trying to sell, and what kind of price point? And I'm getting ready to selling. That's wrong. But so many people do that. Now, when one person with me has a one-on-one, the reason people want to have one-on-ones with me, if the one-on-one is a genuine one-on-one, I will thank the person after, not with an email. I'll take a screenshot of the screen. I'll post and say, hey, Joe, it was a privilege and pleasure to meet with you. I'd like to share Joe's ask. He's looking for people that know Uber or Lyft drivers that only make $4 an hour because that's basically what they make. His company has a solution that will get them to make more from home. So if you know of anybody, reach out. You guys know what I do, but I just want to thank you so much for helping me to connect with him, because he's a great guy. He then commented back. I put a little 4 sentences. He wrote a whole 800 words about me. John is this, like, I just wrote 4 sentences and he wrote a whole page on me. You have to connect with this guy. Now, if somebody tries to sell me, I don't say anything bad to them. I just will not thank them for the one-on-one. I will not share it across social media to 5,000, 10,000 people.
Definitely.
That's how I roll.
Yes, and this is how we all should be dealing with people when we try to establish a relationship, because that's what's all about. It's, the genuine human connection that comes first. And then if you establish that foundation, the business will come in easily and more beneficial for you as a result of it. And it's just I would say a side effect of your genuine connection with that person.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's the fact of your energy. Now, I do things for charity and not looking for anything back. All of a sudden, I got a call from a client. I'm gonna say maybe 2 weeks ago. I got a call myself from somebody from church, and I knew the guy for a long time. He said, by the way, John, I won your raffle at the last thing. I said, oh, wow. He's like, and I had a problem. I was saving it, and I did a dumb thing, and these people came on, and I gave them my credit card, and can you help me? And I said, yeah. And I said, I hope you were, happy with the services. Absolutely. He says, you saved me 50% with the coupon, giving 2 hours, and it was like 4. And I said, what do you want me to do next year for your event? He says, just do the same thing. He said, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you. When I get up to give your coupons, I'm going to give a testimonial. I'm going to say that I used John C. Morley and his company, and I was very impressed and happy with his services. And I think a lot of you should reach out to him. So that's priceless, Anna.
It is, definitely.
You asked for referrals, but I think referrals are different than like a testimonial. A testimonial is more like, I had an experience, or this is what it was like. I think a lot of people are afraid to give testimonials because they don't, if something goes south when you give a referral, you not only have a problem with that person, but they have a problem. The relationship goes down 2 ways.
Mm-hmm.
So you go down with that person, but that person that you referred goes down, as well as the person that they referred to. So your relationship goes 2 ways. It goes down. And so I think people, if they're genuine in what they do, I think it shows. But there are a lot of people out there, they're doing what I call the pitch game, and I said, we're not here to pitch. This isn't baseball. We're here to listen. We're here to see how we can help someone. Somebody was having a challenge with a situation. I have somebody I could connect you with.
Yes.
I think that's the whole thing. And then you get people to say they're going to connect you, and then they don't. But I don't lose sleep over that. I just don't go back to those people because there's too many people out there to connect with. And if you connect with 10 good people a week, let's say 2 or 3 of them are good. I'll take that. And those 2 or 3 people are going to tell 2 or 3 more people about you. So I think the reason I got into content so much is I'm all about passion, purposeful, truthful content. And when somebody says to me, John, can you write down that we're the best at this? It's like, well, are you? Well, we are. Well, what proof do you have? Well, my boyfriend said they're the greatest cookies. Well, that's not going to be enough to put in a new. Well, you could try and you could tell us they're the best. Well, no, I can't because I have nothing to compare it to. All right, well, what do you want us to give you? Like an extra 500, and then you could write that? No. You're missing the point. I don't write things. I get paid to write things, but I don't get paid to write things that are better. Oh, I'm a journalist. And because I'm a journalist, I've taken an oath. And I became a journalist and a videographer for that reason, because I want to share purposeful, meaningful content. The media company. There was a question the other day about once every other day, I have a thing called Orbital Media Tips, and I'll post a printing term. The other day, it was something called ghosting. Did you know ghosting happens when print reproduces on areas that it shouldn't, as well as the main area? Ask your printer to tell you more, or talk to us, and we'll be happy to educate you about ghosting. So I didn't sell anything, but I educated and showed my level of expertise. I think the biggest thing, whether you're in podcasting or in the business, is you've got to position yourself as an expert. That's the whole thing. And you can't do it in a way that is haughty, that is rude, or that is egotistical. We have to be humble, eat humble pie, and we also have to be grateful. Now, there's 2 things that I do. Well, I'm always humble, but being grateful is very important. I have a rock, which I actually put back. Actually, I have it right here. I have this rock on my counter, and this rock is a green rock. I don't know if you can see the rock.
Yes, I see.
Okay, it's a smooth rock, pretty cool rock. I bought it at a crystal shop a couple years ago. It's smooth. I think I paid $7 or $8. You can go get one at a store from $2 to $12, or you can go in your backyard and get. But it has to be smooth. No cuts, no jagged edges, because you don't want it to scrape your clothes, rip them, or your skin, etc. So you probably say, why do I have a rock? All right. So when I get up in the morning, I hold this rock in my hand. Okay. And I take a moment with the energy, and I give gratitude. I don't just say things, I feel them. I'm so grateful that I'm alive. I'm so grateful that I'm going to connect with some amazing people today. I am so grateful that I'm going to have a good breakfast. I'm so grateful that I'm going to get inspiration to do things I didn't even know I could do. I am so grateful that something amazing is going to happen to me today. I am so grateful that I'm going to get someone to change their life. And I am so grateful for my home, for my car, for my parents, for all the clients and all the people that I have in my life. And I'm thankful for our Creator. So I have my rock. Take my rock, I put it in my pocket. I leave it in my pocket all day. If I have time at lunchtime, I'll take it out and do it again, but I will do it again at night before I go to sleep. Now, that's called gratitude. When you're humble, you raise others up. You give them more value. When you are grateful, you feel the thanks for everything that you have in your life and the things that are on the way. So you can do things like, I am so grateful for the more abundance that's coming into my life. I know it's on the way, so I'm grateful that it's already on the plane.
Wow, yeah, definitely. And being grateful and giving, gratitude every single day is just raises your vibration, and you are better at serving others as well as receiving the abundance that come in your way. Everything goes like hand to hand, and it's all connected. And I'm so grateful for having you on my podcast show today. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and wisdom. And for those who would like to connect with you, how can they find you online?
So the easiest way, because there's a lot of places, just go to Believe, Believe, me, believmeachieve.com. Or you can see the little QR code. I don't know if you guys can see it on my hat. You can actually scan that QR code. So it's believmeachieve.com. And when you go to believmeachieve.com, you're going to see a lot of things. But the thing I'm going to steer you to, probably the most important thing I think that's going to resonate with a lot of people, is going to be the 11th. There's a lot of links on there. The 11th link talks about John C. Morley's recent articles. And I'm also going to steer you to GFR, Genuine Food Reviews, where I did a review on a restaurant that uses robotic process automation in New Jersey that makes thousands of pizzas a week while still preserving the human craft of making pizza like they did in Italy.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anna. It was truly a real privilege and pleasure to be with you today and to meet you and to find out that you're so close to me, that you're very local, and to be able to share my little stories with your audience.
Yes. We appreciate your story, your thoughts and wisdom. Thank you. I hope you enjoy your day.
I hope you do as well. Thank you, Anna.
I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, hit the subscribe button and share it with others. Stay tuned.